I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makakadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to your Arkim that's pushing his truth. This is the brother Yakalam from the GMS Boston camp, and out of Juan Ratazal through the Spirit, which is Lord willing. This lesson is edifying as well as a faith builder. Now you're starting to see that jump shot news creep more and more into the headlines because it never fully went away. The scripture tells us how that we're not ignorant to Satan's devices, which is his media, which is that mass propaganda. And they've been on that Ukraine and Russia phase. There was actually a drawing of the jump shot symbol walking, exiting the door, and a missile head coming in saying, I'll take it from here. But slowly it's coming back because these devils, it wasn't over. And this next go around is going to be bad, especially with those people that are juiced up ticking time bombs. And we've done plenty of lessons that had interviews from our doctors and research showing you that those that took that thing, they had their whole DNA manipulated and set up against them. And this thing didn't go away. Matter of fact, here you have in Boston, the numbers are going up. And we know a couple of cops that had told us that basically the union, because they were going back and forth with that mandate, and the union agreed to pause the mandate only if the numbers in the hospitals didn't climb to a certain number. And if they did, they had 5 days to get it or get terminated. And we've showed that the Johns Hopkins University plays with those numbers. And that's on a national stage. Even though we have been bombarded once again with war news, this pandemic is getting ready to go into overdrive. As a matter of fact, I just saw an article the other day that the U.S. president, it was off of RT News, and the headline said the U.S. president still blames Russia for high prices, but now says the number one reason is actually that actually the 19 pandemic. So the pot was on simmer, and the fire is gonna be turned up. And now going into the article, because I saw an article where the WHO director was praising Bill Gates' new book, and getting right into the article, it says WHO chief praises Bill Gates' book on how to prevent our next pandemic, and it says the World Health Organization director, I'm gonna call him Tag because I don't know say his last name, Tedros Adhanom, Tag praised the latest book by billionaire and self-styled pandemic expert Bill Gates on Friday, declaring himself in full agreement with the software tycoon's insistence that we must act on that thing's lessons and innovate so that we can deliver swift, equitable health solutions to prevent the next pandemic. With research, you will find that they have an implantable, you know, that they have implantable devices that detect such threat. So when you read that line, well, not that line, but that part, we must act on the C-19 lessons and innovate so that we can deliver swift, equitable health solutions to prevent the next pandemic. Here you have DARPA, which I took a little bit. I had went and researched DARPA, showing you that they have invented an implantable thing that detects that 19. And also another thing is, if you look at, I don't know if it's the latest Apple commercial because I don't keep up with Apple products, but I saw a commercial where the person went hiking. They was doing all type of things and all type of vital signs and all type of health statuses. It was all on their Apple Watch, and we know through basically the steps that this devil does that it's getting to that point. So they're not only going to push that, that MOTB, which is the digital aspect, that being the main thing, but they're also going to push it with the medical aspect as well, having all that information on you. And that's the thing, man. It's going back to the article. It says the public health official tweeted a photo of himself with the tome tagging the Gates Foundation, the Microsoft founders public health policy making vehicle, and one of the primary financial benefactors of the WHO. Showing you, there was a photo that I saw. I might use it for the background of this. I was gonna use the WHO director holding up Kill Gates' book, but they're shaking hands. So it's showing you that Kill Gates, he's the biggest, as it says, he's the primary financial benefactor of the WHO. And it says, while Kill Gates is not a certified medical expert, he never finished college, instead dropping out to form Microsoft with a childhood friend, blah, 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 blah. His massive wealth was allowed to him to effectively dominate global health policy as the largest private contributor to the global health body, behind only the U.S. government in terms of funding. And we've done research on this devil, showing you where his roots go back to. His our father, sitting on a board for Planned Parenthood. How as a young child they used to discuss those things at the dinner table. And we know what IBM's about. His mother sat on that board. That's how he was able to get that deal with Microsoft. IBM had an old commercial showing you how the dude was in the grocery store and it looked like he was shoplifting. You had the security guy eyeing him. He was just putting shit in his pockets, and then he just walked right out, and the dude was like, hey. And it wasn't to say because he was stealing something. It was to give him his receipt. How do you think he paid for that? Also, when you look at IBM, when they go back to them damn small hats, how they were identifying them. So that all plays a role in this in this in the scheme of things that these elites have going on. And now just to read the last paragraph, it says the deep-pocketed jump shot evangelist took the stage for a TED Talk in Vancouver on Tuesday to elaborate on the ideas presented in the book, which calls for a 1 billion global emergency response team operating under the clever acronym GERM, which stands for Global Epic Response and Mobilization. Don't forget, here in the U.S., Operation Warp Speed was signed in during Trump's era. And it says the group will be comprised of 3,000 doctors, policy and communication experts, and diplomats operating under the director of the WHO, Sa'al Lakia. So when this next thing pops off, yeah, man, it ain't gonna be a local thing. It's gonna be a global thing. Now, getting right into my precepts, this is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Here you have these devils, especially Kill Gates. He could feed the world. I think they did a calculation of how much it would cost. Mind you, he brought up most of the farmland. In Salakia, I didn't Google if it was in the U.S. or the predominant in the world, but we already know his reach, and this is why he's pushing at plant-based things. And they show you in movies. You had the Logan movie where the guy was like, we manipulated stuff in the corn so that the mutants wouldn't be born. But we also know how these devils, the FDA plays a part in that. But going back to it, before I get to my other point, these devils could come together, these elites, and they could feed the world. But that's not what they were set up for. This is why it says, woe to them that devise iniquity. They're sitting in there saying, damn, how do we fulfill the Georgia Guidestones, which brings population down to 500 million? We can't blatantly just go around shooting people. No. And there was a movie, I forgot what it was. It was on Amazon, and it had John Cusack, and they figured out that they used their media to cause hysteria, to pretend that there was something going on, just so people could take a jump shot. And that's where the virus was, and they figured it out. And they went into that whole thing, the earth being populated, which we know is contrary to the scriptures when you read the book of Genesis. But it also showing you in the book of Job 9:24 that the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, because they have the power to do these things. They have the power to create the CDC, which is all under that same umbrella. That's to sit there. How did, during this pandemic, that came about because it was a different strand of our SARS, and that was found out with Dr. Fugazi. So here you have who killed Gates. Both of these took part in Event 201 in the pandemic and how it turned out, along with the CDC. I mentioned the Johns Hopkins University earlier, and the media was pushing their lies. What do you think is going to be discussed at the upcoming Jump Shot Summit in May? Matter of fact, Kill Gates just had an event the other day where there was people protesting him. This is why you didn't. This is why he disappeared from the media a little bit, because just like the article had mentioned, here you have a man with no medical expertise, but giving medical advice. Or when him and his wife was on TV and they said, "Listen, we need to reach out to the black and brown community." This is when we went into the research and from the elders on down, showing you who this devil was tied to. And we all know that it's a plot to, listen, man, they want to take Jake out. They want to fulfill the Georgia Guidestones. And like BG said, with the next jump shots, they will bring the population down. But in order to sell you that, there has to be a crisis. But this time, it will be take it or you off to camp. Look at Australia, for example. This isn't this isn't a conspiracy theory. Look at Australia, for example. You couldn't even sneeze without them coming to get you. This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. How many times did Dr. Fugazi get caught up with those emails? Be the GOAT. He ain't even a medical expert. And he lied. A matter of fact, at that protest when the people were saying, they were basically saying that he has blood on his hands. This dude said he saved tens of millions of people. But yet Pfizer tried to hide the information. They were so gung-ho on hiding the information with the same thing that this devil was pushing. They're forgers of lies. And they're doctors, they're all physicians of no value. They're all part of that thing. This is the book of Psalms 83:1, a song of Psalms, of Asaph. Salaki, if I mispronunciated that. It says, keep not thy silent, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Lord. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. And not only did this deal, cut our name off, but they want to cut us off by destroying us by any means necessary. If you thought how they pushed in the so-called brown and black the so-called brown and black communities was bad, they are going to come down even harder. I had mentioned earlier, Operation Warp Speed is still intact. There was videos of UN vehicles, I believe that was Ohio, pulling in. They didn't pull out. There was no videos of them pulling out. They were setting up the next step. Just the other day, down in South Bay, I saw military helicopters, and we see them every once in a while. They're performing different operations, and people are they just blind to it. You see Black Hawk helicopters. As a matter of fact, these were the larger ones that got the propellers, the two propellers at the top. And come on, man. It's still intact. And now their goal is to have a global response team. Look at what happened to the nation leaders of the poor countries that denied the jump shot, like Haiti, for example. BG, Dr. Fugazi, the head of WHO, they speak of these poor countries where Jake is, as well as the poor neighborhoods. Look how they spoke about the so-called black and brown in Babylon. Listen, man, Kill Gates has been all in Africa, and there's still Jake over there. They want to fulfill the Georgia Guidestones, like I mentioned before, and it's not there for no reason. And with this new pandemic, they're going to push that RIFD chip as well to have, I mentioned before, not just the digital payments in it, but your medical information as well. And I mentioned earlier about the DARPA. This is from TechTrends.com. Pentagon team reveals that blank 19 detecting chip that can be implanted in the body. DARPA, a U.S. military research lab, has developed a chip that can continuously test people's blood for the new juice. The invention is in its late stage testing and can be administered to sailors, researchers say. And we know that servicemen have that chip. I remember during the time of what happened on 9/11, how there was talks of how, those quote unquote terrorists that they had in possession, that were working as informants, they were implanting them with something, and when they didn't return, they would release a gas. So why wouldn't he test it on his soldiers, using it as the whole You know, if something happens, we can find you. And it says right here, a team of U.S. scientists working under the U.S. Department of Defense has unveiled a chip that is said it can detect signs of the new juice in human bodies within minutes when it is implanted under the skin. And it says, and matter of fact, I just read that. I'm going to reread it again. Can detect signs of the new juice in human bodies within minutes when it is implanted under the skin. Now, going back into the original article, what does that go with? We must act. This is Kill Gates. We must act on C19's lessons and innovate so that we can deliver swift, equitable health solutions to prevent the next pandemic. That goes hand in hand with it. That's what they're talking about. And they've already been pushing to get that thing. And we're seeing it more and more. And it says in that article, retired Colonel Matt Hepburn said that the implant invented by the DARPA Advanced Research Projects Agency, a Pentagon unit that develops emerging technologies for military use, can continuously test blood. They want total control. Matter of fact, but before I get into the book of Isaiah, I remember seeing an old college study where a guy called and they pulled up his medical information. He was calling to order food, and the freaking place where he called to order food, they had his medical information. And they basically told him that he couldn't get the pizza because he had high cholesterol or something. So instead he had to order a salad. And then they had to charge him extra due to him living in a crime area. They basically told him what he was going to eat and how much he was going to pay. And this is Isaiah 14:13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Lord. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And this is what these devils want. They want full control, and they're going to push it. And they're going to push it, man, especially with this next pandemic, and especially how these devils have to ration off food and stuff like that. And you know, I'm not even going to go there because I did a lesson on that the other day. But just to show you when it comes back to this pandemic, it's going to be bad. These devils already got things in this play. They already got unrighteous decrees as spoken about in the book of Isaiah 10:1. Here you also have those people that took that thing. They're taking time bombs. We went into the frequencies and how when they turn up to different frequencies, the graphite that's inside that thing, how it's manipulated. Now going back into the Salakia, because my phone, I was reading out the book of Isaiah 14:13. This is why these devils want to be with the Lord. The Lord knows, if the Lord knows how many hairs you got on your head, man, the Lord knows a person. I'm gonna just leave it at a Lord. The Lord knows a person's medical status. The Lord is the one that heals. The Lord is the one that kills. These devils, that's just another form of their control, but they just want to be able to stick that thing up in you and release that poison on you. And it says right here, and also it's to keep track of who actually took it, because you had the head of the one that was in charge of Operation Warp Speed, and he said every jump shot that goes out, they know where it's at and who got it. So like I mentioned before, just like the book of Revelation 12:12 says, because these devils know that their time is short and they have to rush, especially with this great reset. That's all part of that great reset. So it's not going to go as smooth as they think. And this is why they are going to hide in their bunkers and watch the chaos. And matter of fact, because I'm looking up something right now. Here you have China, for example. China is on full lockdown. They got people in camps bugging out. 26 million people on lockdown due to the numbers going up. Look what's going on with all these other countries. It's going to come here to Babylon. Why do you think freaking Creepy Joe just mentioned, with everything going on in Ukraine and Russia, he know he can't sway too far. They can't mess up what they already set into motion when it comes with this pandemic. That's why he said what he said. And I'm going to reread it just to thing. Just to reiterate it, this is why, it said that U.S. president still blames Russia for high prices, but now says the number one reason is actually that thing. Like, come on, man. They just throw shit on the wall and hope it sticks. But there's simple-minded sheep that's gonna eat. They gonna eat it up. And I mentioned before, they already got unrighteous decrees in our play. This is Daniel 8 and 8 and 23. Bear with me. Go to my Bible apps. Daniel. Bear with me, okay. This is the book of Daniel 8 and 23. It says, and in a later time of their kingdom, when the transgressors have come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentence shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. I mentioned before Job 9 and 24, or Micah, woe to them that devise iniquity, because the power is in their hand, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people, and through his policy, those unrighteous decrees, through his media, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And we sat there and we watched. The brothers I am made a great point. It's like baseball. Strike one was voting for these devils. Once again, after they're giving you their ass to kiss but so many times. Strike two is going down and taking that jump shot. And ultimately, strike three is going to take that MOTB. And we already understand 3 strikes and you out. Matter of fact, not too long ago, because time's going by so fast, I believe it was last month that you had Creepy Joe getting his second booster on TV. So the scripture says, through his policy, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Billy the Goat writing a book, him hiding under the thing, oh, he's a philanthropist and he's donating money to help people. But yet, look at his roots. Planned Parenthood kills people. He's talking about at a seminar how to bring population down. And people don't look at what he's pushing is fulfilling his stat. And this is the book of 2 Thessalonians 5 and 1. But of thy times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Summertime's coming. People are able, man. Just overnight here in Boston, you had Wu Shiesty fighting back and forth, for the mask mandate. Just overnight, they removed it. And then open up the restaurants. Restaurants here in Boston were losing $15,000. And like we said, those ticking time bombs, it's not just adults, it's children. And when them children start dropping, people's whole moods are gonna change. When they shall say peace and safety, everything's gonna go back to normal. But listen, man, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And which listen, there's a reason why this devil said that. Soon they're gonna have to ration all food. It's inedible. What's going on, and why do you think they're pushing? It goes to show that those that are in power are puppets. It goes back to Pharaoh, during the time of us being in Egypt, when the so-called Egyptians was like, yo, just let them people go. If he was in control, he would have did so. The same way with these puppets that are set up. Ultimately, the Lord being in control of the elites, they're doing what their puppet masters are telling them to do, putting themselves out there, going to war. What king would go to war or fund something knowing that it would have an effect on his people? But listen, they don't care. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. This is why, the water Yahweh by Shema Shah for blessing us. We always mention this with eyes that see and ears that hear. And this is the book of Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall there be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So when this, listen, man, when this next pandemic comes down, they're going to turn up the heat. Just remember everything you went through during the first lockdown. Right now, 26 million people in Shanghai, they can't even leave their house to go get groceries. Imagine trying to go leave your house to get groceries that have to be rationed off. And how you going to get that? How you going to get that if you don't give in? 2 Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Look at Australia. A couple of coughs. They were putting people in them camps even before they got their test results back. And it says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Hear, O yea, my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Lord is your God. And this is why we put our trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. We pray the Lord puts the Spirit on us to endure. And as a testimony, I went to go pick up my son the other day from school, and the nurse came out and she was like, oh, I looked on the Massachusetts medical thing and didn't see that your son had updated updated jump shots. And when she gave me the list, it was like Tdap, which was polio, the measles, mumps, and the other one, and the chicken pox and the whooping cough. Listen, man, I did a quick research. Most of them reach their herd, and most of them are extremely rare, especially in that case. So she was on me about that. So what more when that jump shot's mandatory? Because shit, I remember when they were forcing the kids to get it, and then they stopped. Why? Listen, man, the Lord put the spread on us not to fall at that point. And out of the Lord keeps that spread that we don't fall, because this next go round is gonna be, yeah, man, as gold. You gonna be as gold tried in the fire. Once again, going back to those unrighteous decrees. They already got laws set up. How many dudes had to go to jail because if they didn't take it, they had to go to jail. If they was on probation, or if you didn't take it, you couldn't see your children, or because your child didn't take it, you got services called on you. They got those things into play. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Lord is your God. And this is the book of Psalms, because of the things that I mentioned, 37 and 12. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnash upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his days is coming. This devil knows that he has but a short time. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their shores shall enter into their own heart, and their bowels shall be broken. Look what happened to the whole crack epidemic. They thought they were killing off our people, killing off Jake, and now look at their people. So what more with this? This devil's willing to kill his own, because these small hats don't care. All they do is care about themselves. This is why they got their bunkers prepared. You think they're gonna go do the civil unrest with their brethren? No, they're gonna go into their bunkers and watch it. A little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous. And these are faith builders. These are reminders. The scripture tells you in the book of Job how this devil's enterprise is going to be short-lived. This is the book of Psalms 71. In our 1, it says, in thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be put to confusion. Deliver me in thy righteousness, and cause me to escape. Incline thine ear unto me, and save me. This is why they're speaking about it more and more in the media. I mentioned before that fire is about to be turned up. Be thou my strong habitation. If you thought you couldn't keep your job, it's going to get to the point where you can't enter into the grocery store unless you got that. Once again, not conspiracy. Look at Germany. So what more when things were somewhat in abundance? I'm not even going to say abundance when there was more than what it is now. Deliver me in thy righteousness, and cause me to escape. Incline thy ear unto me, and save me. Be thou my strong habitation, whereunto I may continually resort. Thou hast given commandment to save me, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Deliver me O my Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous and cruel man. For thou art my hope, O Lord. Yahweh, thou art my trust from my youth, showing you. This is why you have the book of, I believe it's Isaiah 30. Matter of fact, it's nothing just to click the page over and put the Bible app. That book is of Isaiah 30 and 1. Well, get right down to the point with 3. It says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion, because a lot of people are going to put trust in this devil and be hit with the okie doke. They're going to take that thing and get poison released unto them. Or they're going to take that thing and still be put inside camp. I forgot what city that was going on. I believe it was in New York. Matter of fact, you had Cuomo during that time saying that, talking about those camps, like putting you in there to get tested, and even if you test negative, or even if they give it to you, there's no saying if they would release you. So it's gonna get bad, and I'm not gonna drag on a lesson. This is the book of Isaiah 55 and 6. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. And to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for that mercy, and ultimately the elect. They gonna receive that pardon. This is why we say Adorantes, which is Lord willing, we are part of that number. So we understand that famine of the word is coming soon, because we're seeing the devil uses media to set up that persecution, which is nothing new. He's been doing it. So and once again, because seek the Lord, because if you ain't got the covering of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we always say you a fuck. So Lord willing, we're a part of that number, and this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Makakadash, to honor to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to you, Akim that's pushing this truth. Till next time, Yahshua. Shalom.